All right, we're back. JP Morgan CEO Jamie Dimon called Bitcoin a, quote, fraud back in September. Last night he told CNBC, quote, I'm open-minded to uses of cryptocurrencies if properly controlled and regulated. He also, however, said, I remain highly skeptical. John Najarian isn't skeptical. He just returned from a Bitcoin roadshow of sorts throughout Europe. He's back at the CBOE ahead of Bitcoin futures trading, which begins next week. There was Bitcoin involved this weekend? That's not how your Instagram looked, Doc.
Yeah, there was Bitcoin. There was a whole lot of red wine,
Bitcoin's
Judge,
in a bottle now.
cheese, all the rest.
I got it.
Exactly. You can buy it with Bitcoin and Ethereum overseas. By the way, Judge, Jamie is a friend. JP Morgan is working on all kinds of blockchain technologies. They look to be, along with Microsoft and IBM, perhaps some of the biggest people supporting blockchain tech. So even though Jamie talks negatively, at least some of the time, against Bitcoin, he is very positive on blockchain, and they have a huge initiative there. IBM, Accenture, JP Morgan, and Microsoft. Kirk was spot on. This is like a gold rush for Microsoft in blockchain tech.
Why don't you sort of give me an idea of what the conversation was like all throughout Europe where you were at these conferences, Doc, and the people you were talking to about what they think about not only Bitcoin but other cryptocurrencies in general?
Absolutely. Well, Judge, in the United States, I hear a lot from retail in particular, and not as much from institutions and family offices about Bitcoin, but overseas, completely different. Big institutions and big family offices, I mean multi-billion-dollar family offices. I was speaking London, Geneva, Paris, Cannes, Monaco, Lugano, Milan, Paris I already mentioned, I guess, Zurich. I was doing 2 conferences a day, Judge, and the acceptance of cryptocurrencies, the embracing of the technology behind the currencies, which is virtually blockchain itself, is amazing and extremely strong. And the money that's chasing after education in the space, which is one of the reasons I was over there, trading in the space, another reason I'm over there, because our heat seeker technology works the same on anything that trades, Judge. So we're trying to work with many of these banks and big family offices about that. And shoot, ICOs are so big, that's an initial coin offering, of course, that I was over there exploring that for our Investitute when I was overseas with this Monaco Growth Forum and so forth.
Serious question. Were you paid in cash or in Bitcoin?
In some cases, I was paid in cash. In most, I'd say 95% of the cases, Judge, I was paid in Ethereum. Why Ethereum? Number one, it transacts very fast. Number two, Bitcoin is so popular right now, nobody wants to pay with it. I mean, they all want to use Litecoin, Ethereum, or one of these others, cryptocurrencies, instead of Bitcoin, because when I went over, it was 9,200 on November 26th. By the time I landed, it was over 10,000. Obviously went through 17,000 within the last 24 hours. So people want to hold on to that Bitcoin and not so much spend it. They're using it more and more like an asset, less and less like a currency.
Yeah, interesting. Doc, give me some unusual activity before I let you rock.
Well, let me also tell you, Judge, as you know, Bitcoin futures do start trading here at CBOE on Sunday night, 6 p.m. Eastern time, just real quick, and that's on a single Bitcoin future. The CME launches a week later with a 5-lot future, so there'll be a natural arbitrage between those products, as well as, of course, maybe 200 online exchanges, Judge. It's going to be wild.
Let me ask you this. Let me jump in. Let me ask you this.
No.
I'm sorry, I should ask you before.
Sure.
I was just wondering, what do you make of what we saw, particularly yesterday, with this incredible action in Bitcoin, where prices had reached in a very short period of time? And how much do you think that has to do with the fact of futures trading beginning this weekend?
I think it has almost nothing to do with that, Judge.
Really?
My personal opinion. Why? Because 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, Bitcoins trade on, like I say, close to 200 different exchanges. It's great that a big exchange with OCC, that's the Options Clearing Corp, behind it here at the CBOE, or the CFTC product over at the Merck when that comes out. It's great that those will be there because institutions will be able to transact and feel safer, but this stuff already trades all over the place. I think the Bitcoin run-up is mostly because people are just holding on to it, and not so much, you can short it, of course, you can buy puts on it already online, but people don't do that. People generally are just hoarding this thing. As you know, the feeding frenzy has just driven this thing straight up. So I think that's more behind the run-up that we've seen.
I mean, because there were, you heard questions, beginning to be asked, especially yesterday, as to whether somehow this marketplace was being manipulated in any way ahead, going into the weekend where you could start shorting it.
Well, again, whoever says you can't is wrong already, because you can, and you get paid to short this thing. Because if you lend your Bitcoins, Judge, you can get paid by any of these online exchanges. You can trade puts, which is, of course, a bet on the downside or a protection against your Bitcoin. That already exists. So there's a lot of misinformation about why it's just a risk transfer vehicle. When these things come online, it's just going to transfer from one to the other. These people are going to get hedged after they give this. Let me give you that unusual real quick, Judge.
Do it real
Intel,
quick.
44 calls, 44 calls. January 5th expiration, that's it.
Okay, we appreciate it. Tweet it out as well,
All right.
Doc, with a little more information on it for us, and we'll forward it to folks who want to know.